My parents just offered us a down payment on a house, and my husband won't speak to me. I've been married for 5 years, and my husband was a nurse until about a year ago, when he told me he wanted to become a doctor. I was completely supportive. I told him to go for it. So now he's in his first year of medical school, and I've been carrying us financially because he can't work while he's in school. A few months ago, our landlord hit us with the news that our rent was going up $500 a month when our lease ended in April. $500. That pushed us way past what we could comfortably afford, and I just couldn't take it anymore. So I brought up the idea of buying a home. This wasn't new. We talked about buying for years, but my husband always said we'd do it after he paid off his nursing school debt. And he did. He paid that off in early 2020. So when the rent went up, I figured now was the time. I called my mom, who's a real estate agent, and she told me that with what we'd be paying in rent, it made way more sense to put that money toward a mortgage. I sat down with my husband and laid it all out. He shut me down immediately. He said our agreement was to wait until he'd paid off all his debt. I reminded him that was for nursing school, and now he was looking at 6 more years of medical school. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans. Some doctors don't pay off their debt for 20 years or more. I told him I'd been nothing but supportive. I've been carrying the household, but this was the best financial decision for us. And honestly, it would relieve so much of the pressure on me. I brought up our savings, the money we'd been putting aside for a down payment. We could afford something small, something modest, well within our budget, but he told me it was in our best interest to use that money to pay off his loans instead. I asked him if he realized the financial burden he was putting on me. He said it was temporary. He said eventually he'd make more than me, so it would all even out, and I'd agreed to this. I hadn't agreed to this. My mom called a few days later and asked if we were going to look into buying a house. I told her no, we weren't. We'd be looking for somewhere cheaper to rent instead. She insisted we at least consider it because it made the most financial sense. Then she asked if it was because we didn't have a down payment. I told her we probably were going to use that money to pay off my husband's debt, and that he didn't want to take on more debt until he was completely free of his student loans. A few days after that, my parents came over for lunch. They told us they had news. They said they wanted to gift us the down payment for a home. I was over the moon. I was shocked. I couldn't believe they were doing this for us. Once they left, my husband exploded. He said I'd emasculated him, that I'd made him look bad in front of my parents. I told him I never asked for this. I never planned it, but we should take it. This was a privilege most people never get, and it would relieve so much of the financial burden on me. He refuses to talk to me. He refuses to talk to my parents. He says he won't speak to any of us until we apologize for shaming him, for emasculating him. I apologized to him. I told him I was sorry he felt that way, but I refused to make my parents apologize. They'd done nothing wrong. He still won't look at me.